What's up, it's IC, and during each and every year, the winter is always filled with anticipation over which upcoming rappers are going to end up nabbing the 10 highly elusive spots on the XXL Freshman list. And when the list eventually gets announced in June, people suddenly become shocked, angry, and offended over how so-and-so got picked, yet this other person got left off. Pretty much, this list is seen as a very big deal. But the respect and legitimacy that the list is given is absolutely absurd. I mean, people act as if a hip-hop artist needs the stamp of approval from XXL to move up in the ranks of the rap game, and any musician in hip-hop who doesn't get picked as a freshman is doomed to a career of irrelevancy. But the truth is, the importance of the list is totally overblown, as getting selected by XXL is far from a guarantee of success, and not getting picked isn't a damning decision. Although XXL aims to choose 10 artists who are the future of hip-hop, they fail miserably time and time again, as the majority of the artists the list selects quickly fall into irrelevancy. Let's look at the 2017 list, for example, as there's been a solid amount of time since the list was featured, so we now have a good idea where the careers of the 10 artists are heading. That year, the list included Playboi Carti, XXXTentacion, Amine, Kamaya, Ugly God, Cap G, PNB Rock, A Boogie, Made in Tokyo, and Kyle. In the 1.5 years that have passed since the list was featured, only 2 of the 10 artists have gained relevance, and they're Playboi Carti and X. And 5 of the artists have already been rendered pretty irrelevant in the hip-hop scene, those artists being Ugly God, PNB Rock, Made in Tokyo, Cap G, and Kamaya. Now, let's look at the artists who missed the cut for the list in 2017, but have been able to break out since. This list includes Rich the Kid, Famous Dex, who XXL claims was left off for a domestic abuse case, which is extremely hypocritical given some of the other selections. There's also NBA Youngboy, Nav, Rich Brian, Black, and probably many more artists I'm forgetting, who XXL passed up on in 2017, but have since become established acts with solid fan bases. The point is, XXL is pretty terrible at picking artists who are going to blow up and establish themselves. And I didn't just choose 2017 because it's a fluke and an especially horrible list, and if you don't believe me, I would urge you to look at some of the lists from other years after the video. A personal favorite of mine is the 2015 list, which features some names that haven't quite aged so well, such as Kid Kid, Shy Glizzy, Tink, K-Camp, OG Mako, and Dej Loaf. So XXL clearly isn't too great at picking, but people still think the list is important for the exposure it brings to the upcoming artists, specifically referring to the exposure from the cyphers, which is where XXL separates the rappers into groups of 2 to 4, and the groups then freestyle a song together. But the popularity of these cyphers is way overblown, as people's expectations are misled by the one-off success of the 2016 list, in which one of the cyphers went on to become a viral sensation that's currently sitting at over 100 million views on YouTube. But that's only because for once, XXL did their job right and picked rappers who actually went on to be successful, as the cypher with all the views has 21 Savage, Denzel Curry, Lil Yachty, Lil Uzi, and Kodak Black, who have all gone on to become some of the defining hip-hop artists of our generation. In a normal year for XXL, where the Cap Gs and Kamayas of the rap game are somehow picked for the list, the views on the cyphers are well below the 100 million they got in 2016. Just look at the most recent year, where all 3 cyphers are still at under 10 million views. For almost every artist that makes the list, 10 million views is nothing more than a slightly above average performing music video. It's not really a big deal, and being on XXL isn't just going to automatically bring you a crop of new fans. Despite this, there is a scenario where XXL is able to help an artist grow their fan base significantly, and a perfect example of this is Jid, who was selected for the 2018 list. He's someone whose music wasn't even getting close to the 10 million views the XXL cypher could offer him, and he had the undeniable talent that would actually allow him to capitalize off of the opportunity to share his music with new listeners. And XXL has definitely played a pivotal role in his blow-up, as he's quickly transitioned from a relatively unknown J. Cole signee into a darling of the internet music scene. Despite this, XXL usually picks more mainstream acts who are either way too popular for the list, or who have a few decently big songs but no dedicated fanbase or noticeable talent, which leaves the artist unable to do anything with their opportunity on the list. Because of XXL's inability to identify the future stars of hip-hop, and their inability to bring in a sizable viewership, their freshman list is quickly being rendered irrelevant. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a nice day.